He was of noble height and of beautiful symmetry. He was of more than twice as tall as men now living upon the earth. That was when men were men. And was well proportioned. His features were perfect and beautiful. Now I want to get to the complexion. I said, Ellen White, tell me when Adam was made, what was his complexion? This thing that has confused humanity and created division. What was the truth about human origin? The complexion of human origin. And White says, his complexion was neither white nor sallow. Now let's stop there. Right there, and then White has solved the problem of the lie that is perpetuated in all the books and in all the characters that have been perpetuated and pushed through pushed through theology to make it appear as if all these original people were white folks and we black folks just came in lately. And then White says he was neither white nor sallow. Sallow means pale or sickly. But what? But ruddy, glowing with the rich tint of health. He was not white, but ruddy, and ruddy is still not white. It's reddish brown. The original man had to have enough melanin to produce people of all shades and color. When I came upon this subject, I did a presentation. I called it, "Give me back my Jesus." All right. Give me back my Jesus. That's Michelangelo's depiction of Jesus is not the Jesus of the Bible. This is Jesus that an artist. It's a Jesus of an artist's impression. Done in the days of Renaissance. And he used his nephew as the portrait. That's not the Jesus of the Bible. If you're going to draw Jesus, draw him to look like, and I'm going to accept if you draw him to look like a Jew. I don't draw him to look like European. Jesus was not a British or an Irish. Jesus was a Jew living Palestine. The thief came to steal, to destroy. But Jesus says, I've come that they may have life and that they may have it more abundantly. Jesus came to unshackle and to heal. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free from the devil's lies. I'm not an afterthought in God's creation. I'm not a product of evolution. I'm no monkey's child. I'm a child of the King. I was made in the image of God. I did not come in on the whims of a curse. I came from the hand of my God. I'm the crowning act of divine creation, made in the image of God, unshackled in Jesus. And if the Son will set you free, you shall be free indeed. Unshackled. Then the last chain, the third point, the third lie told to justify slavery was a lie that said Africa was a dark continent and pagan, its people subhuman, savage, bad, evil, and ugly. European slave master trying to steal African wealth, gold, bauxite, manganese, and diamond, and have people for the New World plantation economy. Lie to justify slavery. Are you surprised by that? No. Didn't we lie to go to Iraq? Yes. And they are forever trying to prove African paganism by putting negative images of Africans on TV. When I was in Ghana, I used to see negative images of black folks on TV in Ghana. See black folks in America, all they do on TV over there will be going to the discos and shooting and drugs and foolishness. So I'm in Ghana and I look at this and so none of black folks in America doing anything positive. Then I come to America and I look on TV about Africans on TV and it's all negative. I said, Lord have mercy. Somebody is still dividing and conquering. Because, you know, by putting negative images on African TV about us over here and negative images on American TV about Africans over there, they are creating a division in our heads. That's why I think that, you know, of all people, everybody comes to America and they bind together. Chinese bind together, the Koreans bind together, the Japanese bind together, Indians bind together, but black folks. We are so divided. We are divided. Somebody is still dividing us so they can conquer us. We are the most divided, disjointed, disconnected people on the planet Earth because somebody is sowing lies in our heads about us. So we grow up hating one another. Don't know who we are. Don't know who we are. There's a divide and conquer mentality going on still about it. I know they are forever trying to prove African paganism by putting these images on TV. And if you think they are maligning Africans, think again. They are maligning people here in the heads and the minds of African people. Even world leaders bought into these lies. Otherwise, why would Vicente Fox, former Mexican president, say that Mexicans are doing the work in America that not even black folks would do? You heard it, I'm sure. It was on TV. And nobody was mad. I was mad that nobody was mad. What does he think about us? If it's not because of the lies in his head, how would he draw conclusion that Mexicans, his people, are doing the work in America that not even black folks would do? What does he think about black folks? So these lies have gone abroad and infected the minds of everybody around the world about black folks. Slave master said Africa was pagan, evil, and ugly. And everybody said, amen. That's why everything black is bad, and so black music is not good enough in the church. Black expressions are not sacred enough in the church. And black instruments are not holy enough in the church. Sometimes we come to church and fight over this music and that drum and that instrument, not knowing that we are actually using the justification of the slave master to do war, to do battle in the house of the Lord. But somebody tell me, why do we frown on the drums and welcome the guitar in the same church? On what biblical basis? Show me in scripture where God said he hates the drums and loves the guitar. Not in the Bible. It's because, if you want to know the truth? It's because it's not in the Bible. It's because, are you ready for it? It's because drum is African instrument and the guitar is European instrument. Slave master, not God, stigmatized everything African as evil, and it's in the heads of some people. So they see anything African is evil, anything European, holy. Here is the historical scenario behind the attitude. The slaves used the talking drum to sound God's praise and talk to each other about their strategy of running for freedom. And when the slave master realized that whenever the drum sounded and songs of Zion were sang, somebody went missing and the slave master's kingdom shrunk. And when slave master could not control the drum, he banned its use and branded it as satanic instrument, saying there's something evil in the drum. And since then, the stigma has not been lifted. Slave master. Slave master was scared about the drum. When the slaves went to church and the slaves were playing the drum and they were singing songs of Zion, they were able to communicate with the drum. So they can talk with the drum. That's what they call it, the talking drum. So they were able to talk with the drum, and the slaves understood the voice of the drum. But the slave master's ear was not tuned to it. He could not understand the talking of the drum. But the slaves understood, and it was telling them to find a place to hide and to run away to freedom. And so each time they played the drums and they sang the songs of Zion, somebody went missing. The slave master says, anytime this drum is beaten in this church, something happens. I don't know what, but it must be the evil that they brought from Africa in the drum. And so we need to ban the use of the drum, and they banned it in America. But they forget that if there is evil, it will not be in the instrument, but in the person playing the instrument. The instrument is not evil, it's neutral. The instrument is like money. Money, the love for money is the root of evil, not money. It's the same like that. You think the devil is interested in possessing wood? The devil is not interested in wood, he's interested in the heart. Jesus Christ didn't die for wood, he died for the souls of men. And so the evil will not be in the wood, it will be in the person. If you have a person possessed of the devil, he will play the drum to lead the minds of God's people to hell. It's not the instrument. The instrument is neutral. It's not evil. And we come to church and fight and fight and fight and fight. Don't touch the drum, or there's evil in the drum. If there's evil in the drum, there's evil in the guitar. Why did they have to choose the drum and fight over the drum? So they took the drum from them. They took the drum from them, but the slaves reached back to their African heritage and applied the principles of the talking drum to the spoken word and created the Negro spirituals. That's the reason Negro spirituals is sung in a cappella. They took the drum. So the slaves will reach back to their culture, their heritage, and apply the principles they had to the spoken word. They will double talk with the same language. They will be in the church and they will use the same language, and they will double talk, and the slave master would not understand. Same language, same English. Yes, sir. They will talk about escaping for freedom in the north, and the slave master was happy to hear that because he thought they were talking about going to heaven. Swing low, yeah. Sweet chariot. Is coming for to take me home. And slave master thought, oh yeah, the slaves were happy. They had church today. They're talking about going to heaven. Oh yes, they want to go to heaven, but swing low, we're going to the north. Then they will sing, wade in the water. Children, wade, don't trouble nothing. Just wade in the water, children. For God's gonna trouble the waters. So just wade in the water. Don't trouble anything. Just wade in the water. Slave master is there. Listen to them, but could not understand. But the slaves understood. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the waters. And then the next week they come to church. As if they were making a roll call. And then they will call Johnny. And the song is Steal Away. Turn up, steal away, oh. Sojourner, steal away. Oh yes, steal away to freedom. Steal away to Jesus, steal away to freedom. And the preacher will say, I ain't got long to stay. Yes, they wanted to go to heaven, but in the meanwhile, they also wanted to go to freedom in the north. Who gave anybody the audacity to judge African instruments as evil and Western instruments as holy? Not Jesus, slave master. Slave master's theology is what has fostered so much slave mentality among us today, to judge everything European as good and everything African as evil. Now we have become parties to our own victimization and destruction, rejecting our history, our roots, and our heritage in the name of bad, racist theology without any biblical foundation. In Acts 1:50, God says. Who says? God. When God speaks, that ought to end discussion. In Psalm 150, God is speaking. When you come to church, who do you come to worship? You come to worship yourself, or you come to worship God? And here God is telling you how you should worship him. And some of us have the nerve to object